The blue and white game's coming up. Here's what to look out for. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Are Baseline podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Sebastian Weeder. Sebastian, how are you doing today? It's been a sunny day outside.
It has been a sunny day. Went golfing again, had a great front nine, horrible back nine, but the sun was beautiful and little bit of rain, no complaints, but overall great day and even better day to talk about some new Penn State football players. We got coming in all the way from good old Iowa State.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about Matt Campbell last week. We talked about how amazing he is against these big teams, these big name teams, especially compared to James Franklin, who departed from our team last year. And today we want to talk about the players. Who are the players that we're watching for? Why are these guys the championship team? Why we expect them to be able to make the playoffs in Matt Campbell's first year? So I want to start with Rocco Becht because Rocco Becht to me is this is the guy. This is the interesting guy. If Rocco Becht has the right circumstances, he's gonna pop off. And what I mean by that is, first of all, his processing speed incredibly high, and he can go through all of the defense and his offense extremely quickly.
hmm
What he had at Iowa State was an offensive line that wasn't able to hold back the defense enough to be able to for him to think and throw the ball. Now he's getting a offensive line that's going to give him a projected zero point 0.4 seconds more. Rocco Becht, reason this is important is because when he has more than 3 seconds in the pocket, clean pocket time, his his passing percentage is 85%. He's an 85 passing grade player versus if he has pressure, if the pocket's not clean for 3 seconds, that drops to 51. That's 30. That is out of 100, that is 30. So Rocco Becht,
That's a crazy drop.
100%. Yeah, like from Iowa State, he's coming over to Penn State. This is the difference that Rocco Becht is going to have. So, Sebastian, I want to ask you, like, what do you think of Rocco Becht? Because that's why, like, immediately that's what strikes me. Rocco Becht seems like a guy that can really start going at Penn State.
Uh, I love your take there, Julian. I love the numbers you brought up. Obviously, he's under pressure versus his not as pressure percentages. But one thing I do like, and I don't have the numbers to back it up, but is his ability to scramble. And I can kind of see his time at Iowa State being under pressure as a gift coming to a Penn State kind of O line. I know we mentioned the Big Ten O line compared to where he was at Iowa State before, but after his 4 years there, or after his time at Iowa State, bringing bringing him back for one more behind an O line that has a recognition to hold up. His last, I don't even know how many snaps, but he threw 9,000 plus yards behind an O line that, like you said, had the ability to crumble. Oh, Penn State, we've had problems in the past, but we did just have a first round draft O line go to the Ravens, so it's good things to see from our O line and our O line abilities. But I think his time under pressure at Iowa State gave him the ability to scramble, and that's one thing I do like about Carson Becht. He does give. He obviously is a gunslinger. We know that for a fact. He wants to throw the ball, and that ball's going to a destination no matter what. I mean, you don't throw 65 touchdowns, and last year he was on a crazy start. 65 career touchdowns. Last year, Iowa State was on a phenomenal 5-0 run before injuries ended up collapsing both sides of the ball. But he went 200 receptions for 3 interceptions. So we know this guy can throw and obviously play when he's hot. And I'm excited to see how that translate into the blue and white. And hopefully we get a little bit about a little bit of that this weekend at the blue and white game.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get back to Carson Hansen. I think that's the guy. That's another one of these guys that we have to look at because there are some stats compared to Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. You've got to watch this guy. There are some things about Carson Hansen that strike me immediately. But getting back to Rocco Becht, you mentioned the scrambling speed earlier. Rocco Becht is super fast, and
Yep.
the average for quarterbacks in terms of scrambling, not getting sacked for pressure situations, is 19 to 20%. Sebastian, how much do you think Rocco Becht is?
Well, judging by how you're speaking him up, I would say we're looking at 35%
No, we're looking at an
higher.
11% sack rate
Oh,
of,
I
yeah.
misunderstood.
Sorry, I think I worded it wrongly, but he has an 11% sack rate
Almost
in
half.
pressure situations. Yeah, he almost half. That ranks in the top 5 in the nation. So if that doesn't excite you, I don't know what will. This is a guy that kind of similar to Trace McSorley.
Yep.
He can scramble. He can go out there and scramble. And one of the flaws that before I started this episode, I was thinking with Rocco Becht was his inability to look at the left side and the right side of the field equally. That he was a one read player, but after looking at it even more, especially the 85 to 50 stat that I mentioned earlier, with players like Cooper Cousins, who's he now has 15 pounds more weight in the offensive line. This guy went from 315 pounds to 330 pounds this year. So you've got big guy in the offensive line.
Yeah.
Ioane is gone to the Ravens now. You mentioned that earlier, but we have some big guys. We have two guys that are 330 pounds in the offensive line. Matt Campbell brought his right tackle. That's awesome. And this is this is looking like a offensive line that can give Rocco Becht not just the expected zero point 0.4 seconds, but honestly, it seems like an offensive line that can give him an extra second. Like this is going to be massive for Rocco Becht, especially compared to other quarterbacks. And honestly, at this point, Rocco Becht seems like a guy that can go in the first or second round in the NFL draft.
I'd like to see a little bit more on consistency and away from injuries to give him the first round benefit of the doubt. Um, he definitely has the career passing yards, like I said, over 9,000 to back up such a claim. I'd just like to see a little bit more. And we did mention before hopping on the podcast a little bit about that touchdown to interception ratio. And I'm all for a gunslinger. I know when that blue and white game comes around, we're gonna have some plays that it's gonna make the crowd go, "Why would you do that?" But like nail biters, if you will, right up the middle as he's known to throw. But with excitement, with wow, comes obvious drawbacks, and those 27 career interceptions are really starting to stare me down. I do think he obviously 2024 was his best year. 2025 was off to a phenomenal start. Like I mentioned earlier, injuries hindered both sides of the field. His wide receivers went down. Um, but like coming up to Penn State, new breath, new recruits we have coming in. I'd love to see everyone stay healthy on this field, and I'd like for him to keep that ball on a wire that he's known to throw, but just reel it in a little bit more. And I think, as you mentioned, having that O line, that heavier O line, those big bodies up front is going to give him that extra second he needs, or even half a second, to really plant that back foot, angle it, and let the ball rip with his streamlined structure that he already has.
Yeah. And Rocco Becht went through in Iowa State on tough mode. He went through on the toughest mode that he could go through. Now he's at Penn State. Now he's
Yep.
at the Big Ten level, and he's going to be facing tougher guys. but his team is going to be a better team. I mentioned earlier, you're going to get more seconds. And another thing, and this one I think is like, as a fan of Penn State, I am truly excited to see this. There is going to be a couple throws in the whiteout game where Rocco Becht is going to thread the needle through some defenders. His quick release point is going to do all the work there, and
Yep.
you're going to see the crowd roar. And that's what I want to see, especially if the whiteout game ends up being USC this year. I want to see Rocco Becht make that pass and
That would be
just
a phenomenal.
crush them.
Mm,
That's going to be awesome. Because tying it to the next point, the passing, the quick release, along with the fast 11% sack rate, nearly half. I mentioned again, nearly half. Like that combined together, you have a player that can start running. Oh, he's about to get sacked. Nope, he's going to chuck the ball and he's going to make a pass 30 yards downfield. So Rocco Becht has all the potential in the world, and I'm excited to see this guy come to Penn State. I think that his potential is going to rise because of being at Penn State, and yeah, that's what Rocco Becht offers. The consistency that he's had, even behind a bad offensive line. That's that's what I see, and immediately I'm excited for this guy.
absolutely. I mean, I just pulled up a couple more of his stats, like you said. He definitely gives highlight player. He's got those moments that's really going to shock the crowd. I mean, 19 career rushing touchdowns to 65 passing touchdowns over the air. I mean, we got some good, obviously, we got some good variety on both ends. You mentioned Trace McSorley. I think it's something Penn State's definitely lacked. I mean, we had Bo. He's no longer with us, but we've just been, I don't know, Drew Aller, Grunkemeyer even. We had very stationary pocket passing QBs who, I mean, you could blame Franklin on not letting them actually air that ball out like I know they can, but they would sit in that pocket, and then once the pressure hit them, it was like, what do we do? Lots of scrambling, lots like you said. There's a reason why Rocco Beck has a great. What's the stat? The 11%? Would you say that was
So when he has pressure coming
pressure?
towards him, an edge rusher that's like trying to knock him out, he
Mm,
doesn't get sacked. He only gets sacked
yep.
10% of the time.
And like I said, I think I attest that to his ability of being in the fire for so long at Iowa State. Whereas like Drew Aller or quarterbacks in the past we've had, they have they've almost just been caught in the heels too much. Rolling back, taking that 10, 15-yard sack because they think they can air it down the field, and it doesn't work. Rocco Becht obviously has something and a strategy that works for him. I mean, looking at this right now, 500 career rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. I mean, he's got legs. He's able to move. He's able to scramble. 32-yard conversions over the air. He's not afraid to throw it. We know that. He's going to snap that ball, like I said, on a wire. That ball is either getting to the receiver or it's breaking the defender's hand on how fast he's throwing it. 82 yards, hell of a throw. Back to back seasons coming off 9 interceptions, a little worrisome, but 25 touchdowns in a healthy year, 16 touchdowns even on a year when his primary targets were just out of commission for most of the year. And I think he's going to absolutely thrive in the environment Penn State's got going on. And I'm excited to see. I think he's going to definitely eclipse the 10,000 yard mark. He has 800 to go. And the way these numbers are looking, if he can repeat a 2024 year, we're looking at least 12,000 yards. Easy.
Yeah, and 2024, he had really amazing wide receivers that went in the draft.
Yeah,
That
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 dual
was
threat.
that was the calling card, yeah.
Mhm.
And this year, he's gonna have the offensive line that's going to stop every defender. I bet you Taylor Mauser is grinning ear to ear right now, just looking at that offensive line. The weight that they've gained. You've got 330-pound guys. And then he's also grinning ear to ear, definitely, for his running back, Carson Hansen.
Yep.
This is a beast. You thought Katron Allen could run through the storm? Look again. Carson Hansen has an average of 3.2 yards after contact.
Hmm.
Katron Allen, being the big Katron fat man, had less than three. So Carson Hansen, as as much as he's not a fast guy like Nick Singleton, and actually slower than Katron Allen, his after contact running, if you're guaranteed 3 yards a play after getting contact, that's huge. You can get first downs like that immediately. So, Sebastian, I want to know what you think because I like as soon as I saw that stat compared to Katron Allen, just immediate like, let's go.
You're all for Henson, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm a highlight reel kind of guy. I grew up on heavy hitting defenders. So when you mentioned earlier that he has more yards after impact, after being hit than Katron, you might have turned my spirits around. I will say Katron does average more yards per carry. Um, Katron for his 369 carries and over 4,100 yards. We're looking at 5.4 yards a carry. Now, Henson looking at about 4.9, still very respectable numbers, especially coming off of that similar Rocco Becht discussion point of the O line. Now, I will say one thing I really like about Henson is his ability to sit behind that line and give a good read. He's not afraid to rush up the middle. He's not. And that's where that 3.2 yards after contact really comes into effect. He's not shy of getting hit. He's not afraid of putting the like toes in the dirt, getting muddy, getting dirty, playing hard-nosed football. But he's also very resilient. And from what I've seen, he can play those outside corners very well. Whether it's angling his upper body one way and turning his lower body behind that O line and just keeping the defensive linebackers on complete toes and catching them on their heels often, like I said, on that outside. I think I think he's going to thrive behind this big O line just as much as Becht is. And I'd absolutely love to see him get more and more just hands on. Just this is a man I want to give the rock to. I want him to hold that football and run it just 10 toes forward. He gives me fullback mentality vibes, and he's not afraid to run through contact. I want to hear your thoughts now.
Yeah. I think you said it perfectly. The fact that he is paired with Rocco Becht behind the offensive line, that's the key here because
Mhm.
Rocco Becht has a guy who's gonna just punch that ball through the middle, or he can go up the side. He
Yep.
has a guy who can really establish that running game early in the game, and then Becht is able to sit back and when he needs to run, he'll run, but he can definitely pass that ball. And the his ability to establish, I think that's where the Taylor Mauser regime is going to come in, where they need to establish the running game. They need to establish the passing game. Penn State's problem last year was that they didn't establish the passing game and they would just hand the rock to Katron Allen or Nick Singleton. You're getting yards, but you're not getting enough yards because everybody
Yep.
knows that you're going to run the ball up the middle. So that's where if Rocco Becht can make a pass 10 yards down, now that running game, now the safeties are back, run's just going to punch right through. It's all about that part of the strategy. And I think that these two guys are chess pieces that can absolutely build that strategy and keep it going.
I actually think you hit an excellent point. To one that I wanted to mention, And this is me just watching a little bit of tape here and watching Penn State football over the last couple of years. We have struggled, obviously, in the passing game. Multiple reasons. Those 10-yard passes are some of the most crucial points in the game. You don't want to go, you can't, the name of the football is you can't go for the gusto right away. You can't throw a 70-yard ball every time. It's not feasible. You like you said, safeties, cornerbacks, everyone's dropping back. Penn State over the last couple of years is notorious for hitting their receivers in the ankles. Maybe that's why we have so many ankle injuries on our team, Julian, because our quarterbacks are too busy hitting them in the feet than where they should be up here in the freaking numbers. Carson Becht, I don't think is going to have that problem. I know you mentioned previously that he's able to float those 10-yard passes behind a screen. He's able to hit that receiver coming back because he has that quick release point. I almost like Carson Beck's throw because it's not a big boom. It's not a cannon. It's more of a sharpshooting rifle. You brought this up in our last conversation. It's all in his wrist. That wrist, it's out before you even know he's throwing the ball. That's what catches defenders on their heels so much with him. He's throwing that ball faster than, I don't know. I don't even have a comparison, but he's whipping that. And I think the short yard game and the long yard game of Carson Beck that you kind of mentioned on is going to be crucial, especially when you have a dog in the backfield like Carson that will run the ball over your D line, over your linebacker, over your defensive end. Now you're scared. Are they handing the ball off? Is he going up the middle? Is he going outside? Or is Carson Beck dumping this off to the receiver, pulling up short on a post? Or is he running that? Or is he throwing the ball over the middle on a slant? Or is he throwing it deep on a fade? I, I really do think, even just, I know we only spoke about these two players. I think just their presence alone this upcoming year is going to really throw some teams curveballs because they can go a million different ways with just them.
I agree. I think that Rocco Becht's stats when he has more than 3 seconds versus when he doesn't, it speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State is going to give him that. You're going to have Cooper Cousins and Anthony Donko from Penn State gaining 15 pounds this year. 330-pound offensive linemen.
Those are
And
men.
Iowa State brought their best guys. Penn State has their best guys. This team is about to look really good. So, Sebastian, I want to know, do you have any more thoughts on this? Or I think we hit it. I think we hit it.
I think we did too. Obviously, we haven't seen these guys suit up in the blue and white in front of 110,000 in a sold out arena, especially when it's an all white, a whiteout game. We don't know how they're going to react to that. But seeing what they did back in Iowa, I think these are two gentlemen in particular that when the lights come on, when times get gritty, are going to dig deep and they're going to show us that, hey, there's a reason that Campbell let them come with us with his whole regime. And obviously, last year they had some sparks. If they can stay healthy again this year, then I think we're really in for a treat, Julian. I'm excited to see what the blue and white game has tomorrow, and I'm excited to see what this season has to offer because I think there's going to be some fireworks, maybe a couple shocks, definitely some like roller coaster moments, especially with Beck's arm. But I think we're really in for a treat here. I think we are.
Yeah, and the list doesn't stop there. We
No,
mentioned the offense guys today, and we haven't even gotten to the defense. There's some really awesome players that we're going to be covering in the future episodes. So
your man Tony
I'm
Rojas
yeah,
when
and
he
there's
gets
another
back.
one.
When he
There's
gets
another
back.
one too.
Yep.
So I'm excited to be talking about those guys as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our